Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. My today's presentation is going to address a serious kind of writing that the students have to do in their class, and that is academic writing. I will talk about the preliminaries or the basics of the academic writing, and since I intend making the series of such presentations on the same topic, so I have given it part 1. So the key learning points or the learning objectives of today's presentation are that I will define and tell you the purpose of academic writing. And for the sake of brevity, I have given the two words, two letters A and W, meaning academic writing, so that in the future slides you should understand what A and W means. Then I will also tell you its types and examples, then characteristics, then structure, of course do's and don'ts, what you should do and what you should not do, and finally there will be a couple of examples from BS students' work that I recently checked and I came across some problems. So I thought that I should discuss those through this presentation instead of telling you people one by one, since we cannot see each other in the class. So I thought that it is best to make a presentation on this topic. So as far as the definition is concerned, the word academic, it is an adjective, and this is its pronunciation, which is within the slanting lines. So academic means something which is related to education and scholarship. It is any such kind of writing which is given in the academic setting. Academic setting means in which there is a structured environment where students are given some task for which they are rewarded in the form of marks, and there is seriousness attached with it. See, this work is a requirement of any college or university, otherwise you are not given the degree. So that means that it is all the more important. Academic writing can also be used for publications, some which teachers they write, or the researchers which they present at the conferences. So in simple way, academic writing is a serious and a formal way of writing, which generally refers to all writing tasks for the purpose of study at the college level. So here is the list of or the name or the examples of academic writing which we come across, and this is number 1, that there are essays which you write your answers of the questions and articles, and these all are kinds of essays. Then there are research proposals. Then for writing literature review means that any material on a certain topic for which the other sources are consulted. For example, if you are writing in chemistry or zoology something about the topic that is given to you, you go and search the material on the given topic and try to analyze it. So that is going to be the review means that you give the summary as well as the analysis of that material, the researches which were done in the past on the same topic, right? Well, again, one of the examples of or types of academic writing is research papers, which definitely you people require it. Then case study is one of the research type. It's one of the kinds of or the types of researches. Then thesis. Thesis is required to be written by BS students or MS students or PhD students towards the last semesters of their academic work. And so in all these cases, other than these 5-6 examples, there are other examples also. For example, there are books and reports, then some kind of you can say journals are there, but these are the some obvious examples that I have mentioned. Now, the characteristics of academic writing I'm going to discuss. Now, you have the definition of academic writing, but you should remember a few characteristics of academic writing. Now, what is planning? Mm, Whenever we have to write something for which we are being evaluated or monitored, or we are being graded, for that there is a certain amount of planning before we start writing it. um, it gives it organization of ideas, and after that a proper outline is a must for academic writing. um, an outline, it will not only help you formulate your thoughts, but it will sometimes make you aware of certain relationships between topics. It's a kind of a mind map for your um, for the topic that you are writing. Well, the third characteristic of academic writing is that its tone is formal. You do not have to use the slang words or abbreviations or jargon. Jargon means that those typical terms which are used in some other field, you don't have to use those. You have to use the formal language. Then we see that the language in your paper or in your academic writing, it needs to be clear, it needs to be accurate. Accurate means that grammatically it should be correct, its spelling should be correct, tenses should be correct, facts and figures that you give, they should be correct. Clear means that it should be clear in its meaning. There should not be any ambiguous or any vague meaning, and it should not be too wordy, it should be precise. It should have the words which are exactly required, not more than that. Then the point of view has to be objective, means kind of third person point of view that you have to give, because the focus of academic writing is to educate the readers on the facts, not support an opinion. So it should be factual, it should be accurate, it should be correct. And the last point is related with it. The characteristic is that it should have deductive reasoning. Deductive means that one has to go from general to specific. Just like you know that in the class I told you the triangle whose corner or whose one edge, you can say whose point tip is towards the bottom. So um that means deductive approach. For example, in paragraph writing, your first sentence, it was the main idea or the topic. Now from there you have to slowly and gradually you have to come down to specifically to the topic, and you have to you don't have to go left and right. It will be, now the focus will be your topic. So it is called deductive, in which you go from general to specific. Well, and analytical means that you should be in a position to make an analysis based on facts and figures. Well, now the structure of academic writing. As with every kind of academic writing, three main things are always required: uh, the introduction, the body, and conclusion. In your introduction, uh, you must arrest the reader's attention and identify the thesis statement of the paper. Now it is applicable to all sorts of academic writing, starting from paragraph to the book writing. It will have the same formula, that in introduction we have to first identify the topic or purpose. It can be and then we can use some hook, and then we have to identify the thesis statement, uh, and this thesis statement can be this hook can be, or this uh, grabbing of attention of the readers can be in different ways. You can ask a question, or you can quote from a famous work or person. You can share some interesting facts or information, or you can also give a definition. So these are different ways of having a hook or a grabber in the introduction. And then slowly and gradually we know that we come to the thesis statement, which is the main or the controlling idea of the entire essay, paragraph, article, research paper, or any extended work like book. Now we get to the body. Now this is the main part of the work, and the paragraphs, they must be clearly written and they must be arranged in a logical order. They should be interrelated, and each initial sentence, it should link the previous paragraph, and the whole section should flow smoothly. So this is going to be the coherence as well as the cohesive devices that you will use over here, those transitional phrases that I already have told you. Well, now conclusion. In this, you re-emphasize the thesis statement and summarize all the main points. See? So the conclusion should consist of one paragraph which should show the final conclusion to the reader. Now, this is the structure of academic writing. Now, I'll put over here some do's. First, what you should do in academic writing, and that is we should use formal language. Again, I'm repeating the same. You have to be objective, impersonal. You have to be clear and concise. You have to use cautious language, means that you don't have to use the arguments which have no evidence. So you have to use cautious language because it is a serious kind of a work. It's not creative writing in which your idea is your idea, and even if the other people don't agree, if you will still go with it. So it is academic writing, and in academic writing, your question, whatever question is given to you, your answer is going to be standing in the court, and you have to defend it. You see, it is exactly like that. That's why you have to be precise, and you have to avoid ambiguity or unclarity. You have to use specialist or subject related vocabulary. Do not use the random words or the words which have no connection in your subject. If you are in zoology, or if you are in botany, or if you are in chemistry, you are so you can't use the words, you should not use the words related to literature. And literature, it has its own jargon, its own terminologies, its own vocabulary, which is very non-scientific, you see. And so towards the end, in academic writing, especially in BS or in all the research kind of academic writings, you have to give the references of other writers in the same field. So the don'ts, of course, which I have usually found that you people write or you use in your writing, I have seen that there are contractions. So don't use contractions. Contractions means that you don't have to write isn't. It will be is not, will not. Do not use slang. Slang, again, it is that language that usually you use on text messages. I have seen that this is very, very casual way of putting the language where it is not even correct, because over there the purpose is to convey a message. But in academic writing, the purpose is not to convey a message. It is to inform or educate through your writing, and that's why you have to keep in mind all these norms, all these do's that are required. Do not use phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are the idiomatic expressions, and usually it is it confuses the reader. So you have to use the non-literal language, literal language. Literal language means that it is not the phrasal verb or idiomatic language. Do not use run-on expressions. Run-on expressions means that where you are not sure of. For example, when you are listing something that it was brought, they brought this, and so on. No, this so on and etc. They are not academic writing words. You should be sure. Etc. means that you are not sure. So that can be allowed in other kinds of writings, or when you write something informal, but not informal or academic situations. Again, this is the same point already I had mentioned that when you write your any point or any idea, it has to have a support in the form of the evidence from the other sources, the writers in the field which are there. So without that, your answer is not going to be accepted. It is just like in the court when you go and you make an argument and then you have no evidence to prove, then then the judge is not going to be in your favor. So this time the judge is the checker, examiner, your teacher, whosoever checks your research assignment or your paper or your essays. Okay, well, now this point, bullet points and numbered lists, I have seen number of times that you people give bullets, arrows, or those dots or circles or ticks. This is not part of the academic writing. Academic writing does not use bullet points or numbers, lists, or notes. Just if you see my this presentation here, I can use bullet points because purpose is to emphasize on the things that you do not know. But when you write something, in that we usually we discourage the bullet points or the numbers used over there. You can use headings, of course, but not the bullets, the those circles or those arrows or those ticks. You are not going to. And do not use direct questions. Direct question means that there, in, for example, is you write, why don't we work? uh, the teachers say no. You remember the rules of direct and indirect. The teacher asked, why do we do not work well in time, instead of just directly throwing the question. That is not required in academic writing. Well, the last part in which I will give you the sorry, it should be examples. I have written examply, so let me correct it quickly and then I take you to that. So the examples from students' work now I will give you. I recently gave the essay writing task to my students, and in that task, I came across a few problems that the students had made. Now, one essay I will show you, it was checked by me in this way, where I could see that there were number of mistakes of tense, of missing the links. There were too many words used. Then noun and number a problem, that there was no agreement between noun and its number. Then you can see that repetition of the ideas. Now you can see that red colors are the red, this ink is what I have corrected, and in green color there I have written the remarks for the student. I have also highlighted over here. For example, from this paragraph onward, you should have focused on students' challenges, not the general ones. Um, One thing that you might have noticed, that it is such a lengthy paragraph. Remember that if I have given you the essay of 500 words, how can you allot too many lines to introductory paragraph? Introductory paragraph has to be short. Like in this case, it should have been between 5 to 6 lines. That's it. In which you should have used a hook and then a thesis statement and quickly come to the topic. So from general to specific means deductive approach you had to apply. Well, now look at this. You can see that I have crossed out some of the expressions. For example, this expression, due to this condition, they suffer depression, they left their lives on Allah Almighty. Now it was unnecessary. Plus, it was already mentioned. So avoid repetition of words and of the same point. So you have to be precise, you have to be brief. Again, let's see problems. You can see, yes. So time and again, I could feel that uh, there was problem in grammar, means tenses. They were the issue, and then problems in articles, problems in links, and somewhere I have joined the sentences. For example, may Allah help us to overcome this disease. And again, the student wrote, may Allah bestow His mercy on you. And look at this. Okay, it was left this you. It is not required like this. See, this is a mistake. It should have been YOU. Plus, I had to join these two because idea was the same. It was a prayer. So instead of spending too much time and having too many words for just one idea, it was not giving a good impression. So I had to change it. So this is just one of the examples I can show you which I checked. See, and then students ask me why I deduct their marks. They had written such a good essay. They don't know that so much of it was not required. See, so when it is English language, in which you are writing, the medium in which you are writing, if your medium is not correct, then how can you expect that I can give you marks only on the basis of the thought or the content? I have to see what sort of language you have used, how many words, were you not if you were repeating those words time and again. So I have to check for all these things. So this was one of the examples that I wanted to to give you. There is another which I have not checked, but in which I can show you that there can be those mistakes. Now see, challenge for students due to coronavirus. Now, even in the title, I can see there are many mistakes. Now, the mistakes are, it should be challenges because the topic was that. Now, in the topic, every main word that you write, its letter should be capital. Initial letter should be capital. See? So it should be challenges for capital S students. Now, these are the prepositions. They should remain small due to coronavirus. Now look at the spelling. Corona, C-O, capital C, corona, and coronavirus is one word. It should be there. Fine. Now look at the paragraphs that the girl has made. Do they look like paragraphs? Now, if it is the introductory paragraph, rest of the paragraphs should have some body or some length so that a supporting detail should have many evidences to support the idea. For example, she writes that every day in the past week, colleges and universities around have made the announcement in person. Classes are cancelled. You see, quickly she started with the next sentence without putting full stop. Now, there are no punctuations over here. For example, every day in the past week, comma, colleges and universities around have made the announcement in person. Now, if he wants to tell us about the announcement, then it should have been in inverted commas. If not, then full stop, then capital C, classes are cancelled due to fears over the spreading coronavirus. Look at the spelling and look at this S capital. Why S is capital for no reason? You see, how can we capitalize the things without any purpose? See, and look at the when you type something, there is one thing that you have to keep in mind, and that is called alignment. Now, this is the alignment that she has used. It is left alignment, whereas we have to keep alignment as justified, as in this case. Justified means all equal, all lines ending at equal place. But here you see they are not ending at equal place. It is like haphazard, going this way, you know, zigzag. Then you see the language, how it is too direct. For example, I tell you, Ohio State, Harvard University of Virginia. Now you see too many commas. Again, overuse of commas. University of Michigan Duke. These are just, you see, full stop. Then why not capital letter? Why it is small letter? These are just some of the more than, some of the more than, some of the more than 100 universities that are okay. Lecture halls will be empty. Will be empty. It should have been labs closed, concerts cancelled, sports practices called off. Some again, the problems you might have seen that after full stop, there is no capital letter that the student has used. So it means that it is a big mistake. Now, if the girls say that we had written such a good essay, ma'am, it had all the points given. Yes, true, the points are given, but look at the language that you have used. Look at the wrong use of punctuation that you have used. You see, you don't know where to capitalize. You don't know where that should be small. Okay, now look at, so there are so many other other than that, there are so many mistakes, but I want to point out to those mistakes which can be pointed out. Okay, now look at this. Use of contractions. Al with the virus causes, again, why all capital? Okay, if it is in capital, why this name is in capital letter, all capital letters? So it's not you, it is not going to serve the purpose. Look at the inverted commas. Now they are pointing or facing towards this side. You see? Then again, there are so many typing issues over here. Like after full stop, there is no space is left. Okay. So the paragraphs, they have to link together. Now they are not linked over here. Since the time is less, I can't show you in detail, but there the links are missing. Then the most affected area, universities face the prospect of losing. You see, look at the spelling again, wrong spelling. It should have been single O and entire or more. I don't know if you read this sentence, what comes to your mind? This is ambiguous. This is wrong in terms of its meaning. You see? So in China, now look at this. What it means. So if you read this whole sentence, you will come across confusion. See? Then, so again, look at the lines. They are haphazard. Just 3 lines or 2.5 rather lines and making it a paragraph. No, you have to have 6-7 lines for one paragraph, so that you should sufficiently talk or give your points in that paragraph. Small little paragraphs, they don't look like an essay at all. You see? Then actually look at this in short. Why there is hyphen? It is in space short without hyphen. Then comma over here. The safety net for financially needy students remains threadbare if campuses close for any amount. Okay, that's fine. Similarly, for the significant, okay, fine, good from this point. Okay, look at this. Now, when you write to sum up, then it means now we should prepare ourselves for the conclusion. She has written this paragraph of conclusion, but then gave 2 more lines as if it's a separate paragraph. It doesn't serve any purpose. It should have finished when you decided it to be the concluding paragraph. But somewhere you added 2 more lines. I don't know why. And ultimately, that structure of academic writing, it dies. It is gone. It is badly arranged. See? So, in such an essay, if I deduct the marks, then the girl or the student is going to come to me and she would say, what was the reason? So, bete, these are the reasons. That when we are not paying attention to the small details, then at the end of the day, we do not earn marks. And in the future also, whenever there is going to be some kind of tasks that we come across in our academic life, it does not earn us any marks. So the crux of the matter is that whenever we sit for academic writing in the form of research assignments, in the form of thesis, in the form of research proposals, in the form of answers to the questions in the paper, in all these conditions, we have to keep in mind the language that we use, the tone that we have, and we also should know that what approach we are using, and we should avoid all those things which make our paper or our writing as something which is a non-serious piece. So I hope that you are going to work on that, and in the future, whenever you write something, you have to have a planning for that first. So be very careful, use dictionary, use thesaurus. You should know the words that you write, what is the meaning of those words, and you should also know how to present it. See, so thank you for watching. I hope that whatever your queries are related to your essays, they might have gone a bit less now. So inshallah, I'll answer the questions related to any such assignment that you do. So inshallah, see you. Allah Hafiz.